Buongiorno e ciao a tutti, I'm Aaron, your instructor here at 99 Problemi. This video tutorial is a follow-up to a previous video on possessive adjectives. And here I'm addressing some of the nuances that you might want to be aware of when using these possessives. If you're looking for videos on the possessive adjectives themselves and how they're used, you can follow the link that I'm inserting below. In this video we'll be looking at possessives as nouns, the position of the possessive. I'll be including a note about the possessives with family members, and also how reflexive verbs can convey possession. Let's take a look. Possessives can be used as nouns in some rare cases. One particular case where it is common to find it in spoken Italian is when referring to one's parents. Simply put, saying I miei can mean my parents. When you translate it literally, though, it would just be I miei. It would be something like mine. Okay, so it can throw people off when they aren't familiar with this kind of spoken convention. It is, however, very well known and very often used in Italian, so you should be aware of it. And there were 3 recent movies that used this in the title, just to show you how often this is used in Italian. And they were Ti presento I miei, meet the parents, in English, Mi presenti I tuoi, meet the Fockers, and Vi presento I nostri, little Fockers. So in each case, there's somebody being introduced to somebody else. Okay, Ti presento I miei means like, I introduce to you mine, my parents. You're introducing me to your parents. And Vi presento I nostri is, I present to you all, or I introduce you all to ours. Okay, referring to the children in that case. So just something to be aware of with possessive adjectives. Another detail is that the position of the possessive can vary depending on how you want to emphasize it. You may know the expression mamma mia. Well, mamma mia, it is not la mamma mia, it's mamma mia, because so much emphasis is put on this as an interjection. Another example would be andiamo a casa tua, and this happens very commonly with casa tua, and it's a typical mistake of students to say andiamo alla tua casa or andiamo alla mia casa. But with casa, probably because you're emphasizing it, you need to put the tua or the mia after it. Possessives and family members. This is a separate issue entirely, and I've already addressed it in another video, so I'm including that link below. Follow it if you wish. When using possessive adjectives with family members in the singular, the article is dropped. Take, for example, mia madre. You would think it would be la mia madre, but because it's a singular family member, you have to drop the article. It's mia madre, simply put. And this is a nuanced rules with exceptions. So follow that link and you'll get a sense of all of the nuances that can happen with family members. Reflexive verbs and possession, and even though this has nothing to do with possessive adjectives, I felt like it bordered on that area, and it definitely conveys possession to use reflexive verbs, even though possessive adjectives aren't used. So I wanted you to be aware of this, something called indirect reflexives. For example, vado a lavarmi le mani. I'm going to wash my hands. You would expect it to be something like vado a lavar le mie mani, but it's not. So the intervention of these reflexives means that you don't need the possessive adjectives. So be aware of that. Another time you might see that kind of omission of the possessive is with items that are close to the subject. For example, guido la macchina. You don't necessarily have to say guido la mia macchina. You could, but it would be better to say guido la macchina. Why is it that you don't need the mia? Because the car is close to you. Obviously, if you wanted to ride in your friend's car, you would say something like guido la tua macchina, right? You wanted to drive their car. I drive your car, guido la tua macchina. It's not obvious that it's close to you, but if you say guido la macchina, it would be very obvious that you're talking about your own car. Okay. Now, okay, so since this is a nuances video, there are no exercises to go with it. But keep practicing, and if you'd like to get notifications about videos as they are released, be sure to subscribe to 99 Problemi. Grazie!